Okay. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Killing Even More. I am Karyn Bryant here with
Megan Olivi. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. This is our second week. Karyn, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling really great about this. So this is a show where we are reacting to Killing Eve. Usually, Megan and I both work with the UFC, so usually we are talking about people getting punched in the face, but this is a show that we love as well. So, it's like, let's just do this as well. But yeah, Megan, that's good, just to kind of give people a little bit of backstory on who we are here.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Normally we're traveling the world watching fights, but while the world is on lockdown and quarantine, a little bit of a timeout right now, we decided that we love this show and we talk about it together, so why not talk about it with all of you? So if you have things you'd like us to bring up or address from the Killing Eve program that aired tonight, there is a chat going on that Karyn can view. I'm still bad at technology, so she will be able to bring up those comments, but I feel like there's a lot and not a lot to talk about with this episode.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously, and for those of you, if you are on the West Coast and you've not yet watched this episode, we definitely have some spoilers in here. So this is better for you guys at 10:30 on the West Coast. But so really, basically, what is happening is that everybody is still reeling from Kenny's death. Obviously, Carolyn's son died in the last episode, and the story is basically whether or not he committed suicide. And obviously, Eve thinks he didn't. I think most people think he didn't. He was working at the Bitter Pill, looking up some things about the 12. And I find it a little bit strange to think that he would have jumped in this case. So I'm not sure what your take is on this.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. And I think, as long as you're able to follow with the season, you heard that there was somebody in the building. He was kind of calling out to them. He got called away from his desk by following the sound, and then the next scene we kind of see him falling off the roof.
Right.
And for me, big takeaway, we were introduced to his sister at the it's not a viewing, but the reception they had at the funeral. Yeah. But for me, I was getting uncomfortable with the Carolyn and Constantine kind of touching, and I know that they were trying to have, they have these intimate moments and that, he's trying to be supportive, but the whole time I just kept thinking, he's probably a part of the reason why this happened.
Right.
And you're finding solace in him. I thought that was really strange.
It is strange. Well, but also the whole relationship that Carolyn has with him is strange anyway, right? Because it's so adversarial, but we know that they're formerly lovers. And so, like you said, there is so much history between them. And on one hand, the touching seems kind of like normal, but at the same time, yeah, it feels bad. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, when he was talking to Villanelle, and he's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm still in it. I'm back with them, and you're involved. And, you're a piece of crap or whatever. And he's like, well, can't I be both? Yeah. Which I thought kind of summed up, who he is. Like, Constantine is interesting, and you saw there was kind of that fun moment with the daughter Gwendolyn and stuff, and that he is very familiar to them and kind of like a part of their family history and stuff. And I think he genuinely is mourning the loss of Kenny, but yet at the same time, does he mourn him because like, oh, it's so sad that my friend's son had to go because he's just he's a pawn, or was it real sadness there? And it's not like he really looked that sad, if we're being honest.
Well, and then this whole thing with the magnet, when he purposely bumped into her, you knew something weird was happening. And this is Kenny's sister, but when he did that, I kind of thought, okay, Carolyn, I don't think Carolyn has any idea what's happening right now, because that small gesture, which he knew, she's going to put this on our fridge and this, infiltrates the home so that I don't necessarily have to do it and, be writing these things down and sending it back to the 12. But here we are. And they're going to be talking about Kenny's death, and now they have insight into directly how this is happening. We saw Eve walk in at the end of the episode and start talking about things, and the 12 can hear it.
Right. Yeah, and what's going to be interesting, too, is because Carolyn's supposedly not going to be able to investigate this, too, right? So clearly she's going to have all the meetings at her house.
Yeah, let's go rogue. I like the going rogue. I don't like what's happening over there in the office. It's making me uncomfortable. I feel like her new boss needs to get away. Everybody's boss needs to go. I didn't like any of the bosses.
Yeah. No, I didn't like any of the bosses either. And it's funny because before you and I went on, we were both kind of saying, like, there was about this episode, like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I loved it. It was my favorite episode ever, because there were these frustrations. And I know that, early on in a season, obviously you have to set up some plot points and lay some things out. And so, you know, the story will move forward a little bit more, but now at least we do know that Eve knows that Villanelle's alive and vice versa, you know, or rather that Villanelle's back in action, because Carolyn did show her the Dasha tribute, the untouchable, you know, what was it? She said, I used saffron, and I would have used turmeric or something like that, which I thought was funny that she was talking about improving on the classic move there. But so now we know that our star-crossed lovers know that each of them still exists. And I thought, I kind of like, and I was actually looking up the name of the song, and I couldn't get the exact one. It might be by this group called Unloved. When Eve first heard, you know, Villanelle's back, and she was walking back into, you know, the restaurant, and it's all slow-mo and blurry, and her head's swirling. And I thought they did do a good job, though, of playing those moments when both women found out that the other was still around.
Yes, I mean, because they were both highly emotional. We saw Eve get physically sick.
Yeah.
And it looked like at one point Villanelle might either cry or faint, or maybe a mixture of both.
Right, all of it, yeah.
So there's obviously there's a lot of reaction in them, but there's a massive side of this that's emotional for the two of them to hear. Oh, she's alive, or she's alive and still working. So obviously we know that that's going to come into play. We saw in the preview that comes into play next week, that they're some form of communication. But, you know, I want to go back to how you said earlier, just we were both kind of like, oh, we're setting things up.
Yeah.
I almost, you know, when you love somebody, you're honest with them, right? Like, I need to be honest with them. I was really disappointed that clown scene and the part where Villanelle is working with someone else, because, you know, they told her she had to.
Right.
I thought that was going to really be one of those scenes that we loved in the previous seasons. You know, like we've mentioned before, all these, like, you know, gorgeous locations, and she's still doing all these terrible things, but you know, there's a party and she has this air about her as she does it. I thought it was rushed. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was rushed. It was rushed. And you're right, because that's where I think people first found the joy in this show, was that, yes, she's doing awful things, but look how pretty and cinematic it is, and look at what she's wearing, and isn't it kind of cheeky, and it's with a wink. And when she was on the job, it was like, that's when she had the most fun, right? She was so liberated, and she really was in her moment. And we know, you know, this episode was called Management Sucks, and so Villanelle this time was in the management position, and so she's looking after her new charge, Felix, who is adorable, that 19-year-old, but like completely botches the job. And so, you know, I guess that's part of the reason we didn't see the joy of the party killing and the clowns and enjoying all of it, because it didn't go well. But I do agree with you that those are the kind of scenes that I am kind of missing right now, because we haven't seen Villanelle really at work too much yet, save for that other scene last time. And that's where the fun comes in, the playfulness. And, you know, the clown outfit is ridiculous. I agree. I wanted a little more of that. Yeah, the colors were great. Their costumes were amazing. Yeah. The house, when they first showed it, reminded me of the house from Parasite. Yes. And then I thought, and it was so quick, but when she was kind of like sneaking around the house with those big clown shoes on and this ridiculous outfit, I thought that was so humorous. And I really expected that to just last a little bit longer. I just thought it was beautifully shot, and I feel like that was a miss. And I feel like that was a miss for the fans who have been watching all of these seasons and really enjoyed those types of scenes. We don't need to see more killing, but just the way it was shot. You know what I mean? Yes, I do. I agree. I agree. That's a fair point. Oh, hello, ladies. Hello, Debbie Elder looking there. A lot of people talking about the octagon, missing the octagon. We miss it too. Believe me, Megan and I miss it more than you know. And so, yeah, we really hope that it gets in there. But if you guys have any questions or comments there, you know, definitely jump in. But yeah, so again, it's not like it was. I don't think it was a like, oh my God, bad episode or anything like that. It's just, you know, it was a little bit more like we saw a little bit more of the spy drama stuff and the backstory things, more than the fun stuff. But I have a question for you about a couple of things. Speaking of Felix. And I thought that was so cute, and they're getting to know each other, and they're at the bus stop, and he says, you know, he's been bullied a lot, and the guy had beaten up his boyfriend.
And so I wrote down gay assassins. And to me, like, I love it. Like, is this something I didn't know this? For people watching, I am a cisgender woman. I am married to a man, and I am not gay, but I love this show and I love this storyline and I love the whole, the back and forth between the two women and Sandra's, coming conflicted with a lot of emotions that a lot of women have had. That said, I did not understand, and maybe this is, and I'm being playful here, but is this like a job that a lot of LGBTQ people have? Like, I had no idea, and I love that if it is.
I know. I thought that was really interesting because you could kind of tell when he presented himself that he was insecure and that, he had maybe battled some things. But when he told his story, it was so unexpected that you have to wonder, is that part of this community that they're going to tie her with? Is it part of the whole 12s thing?
Right.
I mean, what exactly is happening here? We know Constantine has a family. We don't really know that much about Dasha. She was dating. It seemed like she was dating a male gymnast
right.
of the first episode, but we don't really know. So no, I thought that was really interesting too, and could be something we see grow throughout the rest of the season.
Well, and I also wonder if part of it is because they could be, and I say they, and I'm trying to be very, very respectful, but as a community, right? Let's say you are in a group where you have to act straight, you have to act a certain way. What if all of their lives, some people are basically training for this job that they didn't know they were training, right? How to blend in, how to mask, how to change your personality, how to do things like that. And I just mean on a kind of on a different level of, that there are certain people in certain elements of society that actually might be better suited for some of these jobs.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I would love to see how they found him in general. You know what I mean? So what kind of background do they need, and what are they looking for, and because he was kind of random, right? Like, he didn't seem
totally random. When
he showed up, I thought, like, oh, maybe he's gonna, like, carry some bags or something. I don't know. I didn't think that he was going to be the assassin. So I think that's a really good point. Like, could that be a system that they've put in place because they found that it works well for them?
It could be, and it also could be, I mean, and this happens across the world. We hear it. It's horrible that kids who come out to their parents sometimes are kicked out of the house or, disregarded by their families. And so maybe this is also a vulnerable population from which to draw. You know what I mean? If, let's say, the 12 is this kind of thing that scoops in and takes orphans and puts them on their way in their life, and this is a group of people who might often be in that position of needing help or something. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and I thought it was kind of interesting to see if that's something that is going to be a theme throughout, that like a lot of her assassin friends or just, I just thought it was like, are we going to see more about that community? I thought that was very interesting.
I totally agree. I feel like there were a lot of kind of like breadcrumbs dropped for us, right? That being one of them. Also, I think a lot of things that are happening between Kenny's girlfriend, his colleagues. I've got to give you credit. You kind of knew something was off with the colleague in the office. First episode, and you're like, oh, maybe not. Maybe he's just doing work, but you had this feeling and you called it correctly because it seems like there were other things going on, and they kind of dropped those breadcrumbs. We don't know exactly how it all fits, but we know that all these people that were in that office environment with him seem to also be kind of giving us clues and setting things up for how this season is going to proceed. Right.
I did like her interactions with Jamie at the wake and stuff at first, with her not knowing who he was, with Eve not knowing who he was, and she's like, okay, smoke face or whatever, and like, and what did he say? He's like, you need to go electric or whatever, which I thought was very funny. But yeah, there's some shadiness going on, and I'm glad that Eve didn't give up the phone. They said that the cops have his thumb drive, and we'll see what's on it. I will say this I know, Megan, you and I are not necessarily overly tech people, but Wade, who is producing the show and everything, he's the one doing all the editing and all the graphics and making this all available online and all, is my husband. And he, just by osmosis, I've learned a lot about technology. So there actually are times when they're like, thumb drive home when we have to do this, and then it's a scalable thing in the database here, and it's an encrusted thing. And I'm like, I actually can follow that. But that said, are they going to get anything off the phone? I don't know. And could you read the messages? Because at first it was just like, pick up, this is important, you need to pick up, and stuff like that, because we were like, oh, if you were watching this on a smaller screen, you wouldn't know what those messages said.
Yeah, and then, I also felt like, were they just saying the police had the thumb drive to kind of throw her off the scent and make her unaware of what knowledge they may possess about the situation? when we saw all the things on Kenny's computer, we knew this was going to be a big part of the show moving forward, is that he was looking into the 12. But, now I feel like they've properly also introduced his girlfriend. I don't think they would have had that scene with her and Carolyn if we weren't going to see her in future episodes. So you also have to wonder, how much did she know? Was she helping him with it? Is this something where she's going to be in danger? Is she going to join, Eve in this assistance to find out what happened to Kenny? So I think lots of breadcrumbs all over the place for us to go down these different paths. But I'm hoping that the next few episodes are a little more lively.
A little more like, I agree, and it's funny because, today I went with my look is from Eve when she was in Barcelona. Dear God, I mean Villanelle, my God,
insane,
dude. She's like
insane.
Oh,
this is why we watch.
I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I went with the jammy look, and I was saying this is actually a one-of-a-kind Todd Oldham. When I was a VJ at MTV, Todd was really blowing up, and he used to come by the studios all the time, and this is a one-of-a-kind, pajama lounge set that I have from him, which I love, and I will never, ever get rid of. And you, of course, are doing a tribute to...
First of all, this is a tribute to Dasha, but it's very New Jersey of me. It's not out of my comfort zone. This is what I'm wearing anyway, is a leopard shirt. But Dasha loves leopard. I actually wore this when I was in Russia when we worked our fight.
Nice, right.
So I feel like it was just an ode to Dasha. She wore 2 different leopard shirts in this episode.
Yes.
And as a girl from New Jersey, that is what I live for. So thank you so much for that. Karyn, I'm sorry. I need to flex for you. The fact that you were a VJ, I know this has nothing to do with killing Eve, but can you quickly tell me your favorite VJ moment? Because I selfishly just really need to know.
My favorite video?
VJ moment.
Oh, my favorite VJ moment. Well, God, I mean, it's hard because I was there when, we still had really good music, and it was Pearl Jam was just starting to come out, and they would come by the studio all the time. I would hang out with Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, bless his heart, Chris Cornell, rest in peace. I mean, I saw Nirvana play in the studio. There was only 20 of us. I have part of Kurt Cobain's guitar because he trashed it in the studio. I had already known the Red Hot Chili Peppers before from my days in radio, and when they got there, they were blowing up at the same time. So the whole Under the Bridge video, I was telling Anthony that I was it looks like the $6 Million Man intro, and then he uses that on the air, and it was cool. Those are my buddies that were blowing up. A long story short, I don't have one single moment that was insane, but let me tell you that being in your very early 20s, walking around Manhattan when there were clubs like Limelight and all these things. Yes, Limelight, and you didn't have to wait. Oh my God! And I saw Stone Temple Pilots play like a band night, for the label, and there's not that many people at the Limelight and stuff and you don't have to wait, and you just get in everywhere, and those were such good times. I had so much fun.
As you should. I'm sorry that I had to put you on the spot like that, but I love that you have these moments that you can share with people, because people have come to know and love you for all of your work in mixed martial arts.
Oh no, look at Wade's so good at this. So that's hilarious. So this is actually from my days at WBRU. So that's before I even got into MTV. So that was them. So, and it's funny because I have them all signed it. Chad had to get his drums fixed up there. He's so good. So it's me and John Frusciante and Anthony and Flea. And they came to my radio station, and I think that night I took them out downtown in Providence, and we were out, and I remember showing up to this club, the church house or something, and Ika Mouse was playing, and I'm like, I'm here with the Chili Peppers. They're like, come on in. You know what I mean?
That is so
good times.
Cool. That is so cool.
It was fun. It was fun. But we have seen some things, and we have traveled a lot. Barcelona is a place that I have never been. I don't know if you have been. I've not also been to Côte d'Azur. I can't speak French. I butcher French. Have you been?
No, I haven't. This show makes me, we travel a lot, and I feel like I've been so many places, but then I watch the show, and I'm like, oh, I guess I haven't.
I didn't go anywhere. All right, well, so we have a couple of things I want to ask you about on the clothes. Okay, so the vampire's wife, Wade, he's got the pictures of the blue dress, that floral blue dress that she was first wearing. See, that's what I was going to wonder with you, because I see I think you could wear more floral than me. I don't wear a ton of floral.
Well, thanks. I think here's the thing. We dress for television, and I think I don't think people understand how hard it is to dress for television.
Right.
And it sounds like, oh, it's hard to dress for TV. But no, it genuinely is. Certain colors show up weird, patterns show up weird, cuts show up weird, which I have learned the very, very hard way. Yeah. So yeah, we don't really do that for TV, but in my regular life, like that is something I would want to wear, but I'm also 5 feet tall. So
I was just going to say the maxi dress would swallow you up.
I'd kind of make it into like maybe shin length or something. Like I want to feel elegant and like I can rock that, but I really can't. So I'm going to need to get it altered like I do all of my clothes.
Yeah. Well, it was very pretty, and I think it was $7.95 or something. And then it comes in a blue and a sort of black and red version.
I loved that black one. I think that black one is really stunning.
It's really pretty, and like I definitely could wear this. I'm 5'8", and so I have the height to wear that kind of thing, and I would wear that, and I do like an all over pattern, but I don't know. Sometimes for me, if it's depending on the floral and like or the pattern. When you have like all this too, it just is like a lot.
I understand. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, but I did think it was very pretty. And then there was also that shorter outfit. Now the shorter one I think I would wear. The yellow outfit, which also Wade was going to bring that one up too, that she was wearing, from La Double J. That one's also $7.25. And that cute little shift dress.
Yeah, and her boots on that were Golden Goose. Yeah, love that dress. And she also wore it when she was waiting for the bus. Which is another reason why I wanted to be highlighted. That was Philip Lim, and
blue?
Yeah, I really would have liked to see that highlighted more. I thought that was a unique, really feminine dress, very girly, which are some of the things that we loved about those first 2 seasons when she would dress really feminine, but then planning to kill somebody. So I thought that was kind of like an ode to the seasons that we had seen before, where she's wearing something very light and girly and puffy sleeves, and Philip Lim, great designer, and then she's planning to go kill a man.
Right. But also I thought too, same thing. I thought it was maternal in a way too. And now here she is. She's going to be, management for the new guy. And that was that nice, sweet bonding moment. And I agree with you. I thought that they did a really good job of putting her into something that was very soft and feminine and girly and welcoming. And it just made her, and really kind of accentuated the sentiment of the moment and the niceness between them. Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, let's see. The highlights, lots of people talking and saying hello. Oh, even watching from the UK. We love that.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so a couple of quotes, though, I wanted to ask you about because there were a couple that were really funny to me. Okay. And one of them was at the beginning when it was at the wake. Both of my favorite lines came from Carolyn tonight. And one of them, she goes, when she's talking to Gwendolyn and she's like, the music, oh my God. Speaking of my MTV, I am such a music snob, right? So she goes, couldn't we be sad and listen to good music?
I loved that. And it's very her. You know what I mean? Like she just kind of says exactly how she's feeling. Right. She doesn't care how people perceive it. She's going to say, no, I loved that. And I kind of felt like she had a point.
She did. It was bad. But for a little crossover for our fight world, Megan, you've been to a Fedor fight before, right? And as have I. I've got several, and not even just Fedor, but a lot of our Russian fighters. People may not know this. Like a lot of people, when they come out to fight, if you've watched boxing or any UFC, like usually come out with like amped up the crowd and get people singing along. And Fedor used to walk out to this Russian song that sounded like a funeral dirge, and everyone was like, "What is happening right now?" And it sounded like the last song that men sang as they drank, before going off to war, and it was always so sad.
I always think that a walkout song is for the crowd.
Totally.
Because I feel like you want them to root for you, because they might not know you, and they sometimes people, that's how they choose who they're going to root for.
Right.
He's like, oh, I like their song, or I like this. And there are some times where I'm like, this is your moment.
Totally.
And I'm sure that song means something to you, but wear some headphones.
Yeah.
Run out. Yeah. And let us listen to something more. You know what I mean? Like, it is a struggle, so I feel her pain because it can drastically kill the vibe, no matter what is no matter if it's a super happy arena full of people to watch a fight or, reception for a funeral.
Yeah, totally. I can totally relate. And I swear, because the whole thing about the ring walk, I'll never forget. I remember, I will forget who it was that was fighting, but somebody used Bruno Mars once, and it was a big Vegas fight. And I remember looking over in cage side, like Terry Crews and like all these people, and they're like singing the words and this, and I was like, that's what a walkout song is for. Exactly. That's what it's for.
Exactly. I'm always suggesting walkout songs to Joseph.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what about this one? Everyone will love that. And he has great taste in music, so he doesn't need my suggestions that are like from the radio, but whatever.
Yeah. No, he does great. All right. So now my other quote that I loved. Now this actually was when Gwendolyn was saying it to. She said it to Constantine, but basically she said that it was her. Mom had said because that's when she's like, oh, do you have to hang around? And he said, oh, I got to stay in town for a few more days and stuff like that, or I think that. And she goes, well, you only know a country once you know its drink, right? And so I will say that I have to agree with that. We have established in the other one, you don't necessarily partake, but I enjoy the spirits when we travel around the world.
I think that's great. And that's what a lot of people like. That's how they get to know a place. I get to know the place by their food. So it's very similar, food and drink. That's when you're traveling. Sometimes that's all you have too.
Right.
For us, sure. Because I don't drink alcohol, and I will try and go find like the best coffee shop in a city.
Right.
Or what is this city? What is this place? What kind of food are they known for?
Right.
And I'm gonna have that dish on the best, local spot that I can. So even if that's the only time I left the hotel, or I wasn't working or sleeping or whatever, because sometimes places with very little time and lots of jet lag. Yeah. I need to feel like I was there, and that's how we do it. I love that because it does make all the sense, especially for people who constantly live on airplanes like you and I.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I love to try to go out and be like, whenever we go to a lot of these places, like you said, sometimes we work a lot and we don't have a lot of time to get out. My last trip to Brasilia was the one right before everything got locked down for COVID. And so I really wasn't feeling also that much like I wanted to go out and explore. But yes, in general, I like to try to go somewhere and live like a local, even just for a minute. Like, don't only go to the tourist places. Go to try to find something, to enjoy the local flavors and the local taste. But that said, I do love my vodka. So when we did go to Russia, like, I did love that. And so every time when I'm watching like Constantine, like, I will say this, there's a part of me that would love to go out, on a pub crawl with Constantine. Like, I would make it like 1.5 pubs in, because I would, there's no way I would ever be able to keep up. But there's a part of me that's like, Constantine's that dude that you actually do want to go out with all night long.
And nobody's going to have a bar fight with Constantine, right? Like, you find a way to make sure that didn't happen. So I think it's perfect.
Totally. But I will say this, too. In Russia, they were so, and I guess it's obviously just the way it has to be. But, here, when you're in a bar and you're like, oh, I'll have a shot of vodka, and the guy's pouring or whatever. They're like, hey, so you come here often, and you're like chatty, and sometimes you get a bigger one. Well, over there, they were very regimented about the pours. And I remember at one point, we're in the hotel, and I said, yeah, can I get a double or something? And it was going to be in millimeters again, but it wasn't, or whatever. And I was like, I don't know that that's a lot. And so then lady, I said to her, I was like, can I have like this much? Because it was going to, you know what I mean? And then she looked at me, and it turned out that was going to be like 4 together. Because at home in the States, it would have been a double, but over there it was so measured and it was 4. And you should have seen the look on this lady's face. Like, I'm like, lady, you're Russian. You're going to judge me for drinking 4.
And you were paying for it.
It was good. And she put a lot of ice in it, but it took me a while to drink it. But yeah, I was like, lady, anyway, my point being, if you do go to Russia and you want your vodka, it doesn't flow quite as freely as you think it's going to. I had a lot of good local ones, but it's not, you think it's just like, coming out of the faucet. It's not.
No, it's not. But, I feel like Constantine could make that happen if you are in a pub crawl.
Constantine could make it happen. All right, so I'm trying to think is there anything else? I think those were my main takeaways here.
Yeah, I just am interested to hear your thoughts on how you think this Kenny situation is going to play into a Villanelle and Eve reunion. Obviously we know they're connected in some sort of way. Eve really hesitant to join this, whatever it is for Kenny, with the search for justice or whatever.
Right.
But, now they both know about each other. We know they can't stay away from one another.
Right.
How do you see this playing out?
I think it'll be Villanelle going to Eve first, right? I just
totally agree.
Because she would have the means to get to her first anyway, too, right? Like, we don't know what financially. It doesn't seem like Eve is in a good situation, right? So she can't really be running around unless Carolyn funds anything for her, and they still have that dicey relationship, right? Like, yes, she's sad about her son being killed, but like she's like, I don't work for you anymore, and all that, right? Yeah. So Yeah, I don't know, unless it's the type of thing where, like you said, was that Dasha who killed him? Is there a Dasha Villanelle connection to what happened to Kenny, like you said, with the sound of the heels coming down the hall? I don't know, but I think it's going to be Villanelle coming back into Eve's circle.
I agree, because I also think because Eve was shot, we saw her have that physical reaction where she actually got sick. Yeah. I don't think, while she may still think about Villanelle, I don't think that it's necessarily a time where she wants to be face to face yet. She was just shot not that long ago. Right. So I do think, yeah, it's going to be Villanelle going to her. I don't know, is she going to go back to England? I don't know, what if Constantine is bouncing back and forth between England and Barcelona. Right. She could very well do that as well. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out. But I also hope that we just get to see a little bit more action too in these upcoming episodes, just to bring it home to why we watch.
True. Agreed. And in a way too, there could be a way that Villanelle and Eve like team up to figure some things out. Maybe, but
really interesting.
But we know they're never really 100% partners, right? Even before, when they were partnering up, they were still not really. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I think I mean, the episode preview for next made it seem like there was some sort of recording that Villanelle did and she gave to Eve. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But I am looking forward to next week. I think that they've planted enough seeds that we can really start to see some things grow starting in the next few episodes.
Agreed. And again, wait, if we have that suicide prevention hotline number, that is a story that they're saying maybe Kenny jumped and committed suicide. But at these times, a lot of people are depressed. We're all shut in our houses right now. You and I are both fortunate enough that we have other family members here in the house, but we know a lot of people right now are suffering. They're lonely. They're depressed. They can't see their therapist. They can't see family members. They can't, get a hug from somebody. So if you are feeling like you are in a stressful situation and have these thoughts, please reach out to somebody, because there are people here to help you.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no shame in it. In any form, if you need help in this situation, whether it's calling that number, whether it's joining meetings online or chat rooms online that are designated for addiction and different types of addiction, because those meetings are closed. There's been a severe uptick in domestic violence calls. There are tons and tons of organizations that will let you text and email and call in, whatever. This is a time to ask for help. There's no judgment here. Everybody is going to need help in some way, shape, or form. And this is not a time to be ashamed. This is a time to say, I'm brave enough to ask. So definitely do that, Karyn. That was really huge of you guys to put that up there. It's going to be able to help a lot of people.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and for folks who know, I know you do a lot on your Instagram too. Megan lives in Vegas. For those who don't know, I live in Los Angeles, so they can look at your Instagram too and get a lot of info, because you put a lot of things out about like food banks and shelters and that kind of thing as well, right?
Yeah, it's been a really challenging time, and while I can't be necessarily volunteering for all the organizations that I believe in, the least I can do is share information for those who may need it. And there are times where we may need groceries or help, like we just mentioned, or even things like you need masks, or you need whatever it may be. There is a place for you, and this is a time where, even though there's so much bad going on in the world, there's so much good being done to help communities. So I'm trying to put as much information as I can out there without being overwhelming to people. So I put that on my story. I'll also be linking to this, so make sure that you can watch the thing, especially if you haven't watched the episode yet and you're going to be needing to be filled in tomorrow. Because I think I read something strange, and I don't know, Karyn, if you saw this, but it sounded like this episode was coming out in the UK on Monday.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it might be, because I think I looked at something, and and it did say like such and such time over here, and then it comes out like the following day over there, maybe, right?
Yeah, because I saw people. I looked up the hashtag to just see what people, what conversations people are having, and it seemed like there were a lot of people from the UK saying, "Wait, I thought Killing Eve was tonight, and it's tomorrow." So if that's true, I don't know. Or if this is on your DVR and you're gonna watch it, this is the show you need.
Yes. All right. Well, let's see if we have any questions here before we wrap this up. But basically, the Internet Wizard Society is saying sick shirt. Yes, thank you. Once again, this is my vintage one of a entitled, in which I also just love. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Wade put it up. He said, yeah, that it started, last Sunday. It's BBC America and AMC for people who can have both options here for us. So
yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hopefully, we get to see a little bit more of the playful stuff, a little bit more of the playful killing and everything. But yeah, I do. Yeah, it's fun. I do think we've got some interesting women in this season and a lot of fun things. But I do think it's going to be fun to see Villanelle. Like, what she's like, do I get promotion? I get whatever. She's like. She's just great. I really like her. I think she and Dasha could be pretty funny together, actually, too.
I think so, too. I'm hoping that we get to see some more humor and some more fashion. I really need more fashion. Yes. I need more fashion. Give her, 72 outfit changes, and I'll be great.
Right, yes. I know, because I feel like for Eve, for Sandra Oh this season, she's in, raincoats. She's killing me with the zipper. The raincoats and then just the stuff from working in the back in the kitchen. And so Sandra Oh could use, we need to let her some zhuzh. All right. Well, so listen, folks, you can find me at KB Heat on Instagram, Karyn Bryant across the platforms everywhere else. It's Karyn. Also, follow Wade Eck. He is the one producing this and making all of this happen for us. Megan, where can people find you?
At Megan Olivi on all platforms. I think you can see it down there. Yes. And, oh my gosh, those are so cute. Thanks.
There we go. Nice. In our day jobs. Yes. And of course, we also have Killing Even More on Instagram and on Twitter. So hit subscribe. We have killingevenmore.com. So whatever you need to do, just subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of this. But that's pictures of us at work. I cannot wait to get back to the fight game.
I totally agree. I'm just waiting for my phone to ring. But until then, we've got you covered with Killing Eve coverage here.
Until then. Well, folks, thank you so much for checking it out. I'm Karyn Bryant. I'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.